Welcome back to a new post today. Today let's do the most important topics that you need to remember for June 14th. And the very first is about forest dwelling scheduled tribes and the other traditional forest dwellers. So who are these two people? They are defined under the Forest Rights Act, or also called as the Scheduled Tribe and Other Traditional Forest Dwellers Act of 2006. Now, why was this in news? That's because the government of India is now creating Forest Rights Act cells in every district to implement the Forest Rights Act under the Janjatiya Abha Utkarsh Abhiyan, and this act recognizes and vests forest rights in these two communities, which include title rights, use rights, relief and development rights, and also forest management rights as well. Now, these forest dwelling scheduled tribes are the members of scheduled tribes who have primarily resided and in the forest and also are dependent on the forest for their bona fide livelihood. The other traditional forest dwellers are none other than, and the forest dwelling scheduled tribe have to be scheduled tribes in that very state under which they are claiming their rights. And the other traditional forest dwellers are those who have been residing in the forest land for at least 3 generations, that's 75 years prior to December 2005, and they depend on the forest land for their bona fide livelihood. Now, what are the rights given to these traditional forest dwellers and forest dwelling scheduled tribes? They are given title rights, that is ownership rights for the land for self-cultivation, subject to maximum of 4 hectares per family. Use rights, they can use the minor forest produce, grazing areas, water bodies and other forest produce. Relief and development rights, they have protection against illegal eviction, access to basic amenities. And forest management rights, the right to protect, regenerate, conserve and manage community forest resources. So let us look into the classification of the forests in India. So first of all, what is the definition of a forest in India? Now, this definition is given by the Forest Survey of India, and it is also accepted by international bodies like the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change and Food and Agriculture Organization. It includes both natural forests and also plantations, as well as orchards, bamboo, and even areas outside the recorded forest areas. So it is defined as any area with a tree canopy of more than 10% and a minimum of 1 hectare or 10,000 square meters, irrespective of ownership or legal status, is called a forest. So the area is minimum of 1 hectare, 10,000 square meters, tree canopy of more than 10% density, and the definition applies to any land irrespective of its legal classification. That may be a reserve forest, a private land as well, and it includes natural forests, plantations, orchards and also other areas with a tree cover. So under the Forest Survey of India, forests are classified into very dense forests with a canopy of more than 70% and above, including mangrove cover, moderately dense forests which include a tree cover of a canopy between 40% and 70%, open forests with land and tree cover of canopy between 10 to 40%, scrub, all forest lands with poor tree cover, mainly having less than 10% density, and non-forest, any area not included in the above. Now, according to the legal status, forests are classified into reserve, protected and village forests. According to the composition, they are pure and mixed forests. According to the ownership, they are state, private, community and panchayati forests. And the management, and on the basis of forest types, they can include tropical, montane, alpine, semi-evergreen, deciduous, thorn and subtropical forests. So recently, DNA was being used to identify the victims of the aircraft disaster that occurred recently of Air India. Now, DNA was observed for the very first time in 1800s by a Swiss biochemist named Friedrich Miescher. Now, it was nearly a century passed away that until the discovery of a DNA molecule was realized, and its importance to biology as well was realized. What is DNA? DNA, the full form is deoxyribonucleic acid. It is a molecule that contains the biological instructions that make up the species, that make every species unique. DNA is unique for every species, and DNA is also very unique for individual among the species as well. They contain instructions passed from the adult organism to the offspring during reproduction, and the DNA is inherited from the parents. The DNA is made up of chemical building blocks called as nucleotides. These building blocks consist of three parts. They are a phosphate group, a sugar group, and 4 nitrogen bases. Every strand of DNA nucleotide are linked into chains with a phosphate and sugar groups alternating. The 4 types of nitrogen bases that are found in this nucleotides are adenine A, thymine T, guanine G, and cytosine C. The order, the sequence of these bases are determine what biological instructions they contain in a strand. For example, ATCGTT might instruct for blue eyes. A similar sequence might instruct for brown, and therefore this make up unique characteristics of an individual. The complete DNA instruction genome for a human consists of 3 billion bases and about 20,000 genes on 23 pairs of chromosomes. DNA contain the instruction needed for an organism to develop, survive, reproduce, and also to grow. To carry out these functions, they are converted into messages that can be used to produce proteins, which are complex molecules which do most of the work in our bodies. Now, the Iran-Israel conflict is going to impact the oil supply to India. India imports 80% of oil from other countries. However, Iran is not the largest supplier. We are now importing most of our oil from Russia. The prices of oil can increase also because of the disruption to the Strait of Hormuz. So these are the most important topics I thought I should be touching. If you did, please do like, share, and subscribe, and don't forget to comment. I shall see you in the new post. Until then, it's very happy learning.